Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In today's session, let's talk about Auto Harmonic Pattern Backtester. This is a new premium script I published yesterday, and this is defined or built on Pine strategy framework. Plus, but please do not use this as a strategy, or do not consider this as a strategy. Instead, use this as a backtester and a tool to build your own strategies. So basically, what the script does is it scans for harmonic patterns and prints them on the screen, and also it provides a wide range of input options which users can use to define their own strategy on how to trade harmonic patterns. Right? We'll discuss some of the settings today. We may not be able to discuss everything, but we'll do go through some of the important ones. Before going to the settings, a few things I want to mention in the strategy properties here. The basic properties where margins are set at 100%, that means that no leverage is possible. So you can only use how much capital or how much equity is available with you. You can only use that for trading. Okay, and order size is 10% of the initial capital, 10% of the equity, and there's four pyramiding. So there are bit of issues with these options. One is like since we are using 10% of equity on each trades, and the size of the patterns are varying, that means that the risk is not defined per trade. Like the small patterns will have smaller risk, and the big patterns will have bigger risk because the quantity used is same for both of them, right? So because of this, what we do is whatever you see here, the net profit, it may not really reflect the strategy. So instead, what you need to check is percentage profitable and risk reward. These are the two things which you need to check instead of just looking at net profit. Net profit is good if it is there, but if it is negative, still you need to see through these settings are percentage profitable and risk reward, in order to identify how much really profitable, how good your strategy, which you built on this harmonic patterns. Right, and another thing about the setting is pyramiding. The pyramiding is set to 4. That means that at a time only 4 open trades are possible. But if you see that there are more than 4 patterns, so because of that, not all patterns may not have trades. And in order, if you want trade to be generated for each patterns, maybe one thing which you can do is you can reduce this order size to 1% and make this 25. Right, this way you'll get orders for all the patterns, but also it will, your backtesting also will change based on that. Okay, so that's the 2 points which I wanted to talk before proceeding with the settings. And yeah, one more thing to highlight here. If you are a premium user, just use the bar magnifier and don't worry about this because this will cause repainting if you check any of this. So do not use any of this. So if you're a premium user, use bar magnifier, which will give you more accurate backtesting results. Okay, so let's get started with the settings, actual settings. So before going to that, I'll just reset the settings. Coming to here, first thing is the trade settings. Trade settings, the first important thing is trade direction. You can only place long or short directions. You cannot have both of them together. That's because if you have both of them, the bullish patterns and bearish patterns will cancel each other's trade, and it will not have a right right outcome. It will not give a right outcome of pattern based trading. So that's why what we have decided, you can only have select one at a time. And if you want to keep an eye on both, maybe just create a two layouts and keep short on one and keep long on the other one. Okay, next set of important settings is like entry percent, stop, and target. Right, this actually defines your trading strategy mainly. So, for example, what I mentioned here is entry at 100%. That is that is more appropriate for trend following method, right? And also targets are pretty high, like 10.618 is pretty high. So what I'm saying here is Let's consider the smallest pattern here, right? This XABCD pattern. Maybe I'll just mark it XABC and D, right? So what it says is this is impulse and this is correction, right? So the base can be few things like impulse, it can be correction, or it can be minimum of these or maximum of these, or AD and CD. So AD and CD is like AD and CD. So right now the base which I've selected is max. That means max of this and this. So this is the max definitely. So your entry will be 100% of this max, right? So 100% of this max will be here again at the A point. So your entry will be at this A point. And if you look at this total orange one, it says entry at 25211, which is this point, 25211, and stop at 15476. It's just that this point, 15476, and target is at 118845. It will be somewhere long up, right? That's because the risk reward set is pretty high. 118 is somewhere here. So that's because the risk reward set for this is pretty high, which is 10 point something. Instead, if you reduce this to 1 point something, then what happens? The risk reward is reduced, and the reward is reduced. So reward will be something like this. The target will become somewhere here. So if you go to total, it's 31227. It will be somewhere here, right? So that's how you define how much you're expecting out of your trade of these, and how much risk you want to put on these trades, and where do you want to enter, right? As I mentioned, right, this particular thing is for 100, 0, and 1.6, 10.618 or 1.618. That's mainly for trend following. If you don't want to do a trend following, what you do is if you want to go for a quick reversals, change this to 10 and 10. So it means that you're entering early, you're trying to enter early, but you're also trying to close soon as well. Let's say this will be 3820.382. So you're trying to close soon as well. So you're trying to enter early and trying to close soon. Or you can also make it like 618, but that will be a little bit too much because your risk is pretty small compared to reward. So it may not that many trades may not reach 618 here. If you look at the strategy backtester, see 37% profitable even with this. That's pretty good. If you still reduce further 5, yeah, so it's still 26%. So it keeps reducing. If you reduce the risk, or if you tighten the entry criteria and stop criteria without changing the target, your risk also, your percentage profitability will also keep reducing. But you also need to make sure, like, understand one more thing here is that your risk reward is increasing here because your risk is very less, but the profit is same or more here, right? So that's how, like, you define, try to build a strategy based on this. And similarly, if you want to do a swing trading, maybe keep it like 30 and 618. This will have a higher profitability, 60%, right? So yeah, so this is like, by altering this entry percent, stop percent, and target, you'll be able to define the strategy and also think what you want to do. Like, if you are looking for a long-term trades, like, enter enter at higher position and keep higher target, and all these things. And if you're looking for a short-term trades, this has to be very tight. All these things has to be very tight. So it depends on how you want to place the trades, and how you want to how much time you want to be in the trade with each of your trades, right? The next few things, confluence is something like, trade only if there are multiple patterns at a time. Otherwise, do not place a trade. It's that defines confidence. It's just there for experimental purpose at present. We'll have to try, and you can also use it for additional confirmation, like multiple patterns. You think it will give you a better confirmation. You can use it for that purpose. Filter perfect triangles in trial enterprise, which is also there in the Ultimatex autonomic pattern Ultimatex. You can also go through this tool tips to understand what they are. Use limit order for missed entry. Like for example, this is mainly useful for smaller entry positions. If you mention 5% entry and 5% stop, it's very easy to miss the trade. For example, if that happens, like the pattern formed and then the same pattern goes up like this, then you miss the entry pretty much, right? So in that case, what you do is, like, if this option is selected, it will place limit order, right? Because it's not if you are looking for a trade here, it's not advisable to enter here, right? So either you place a limit order or you do not enter. So if you do not check this, it will not do any entry, it will not trade anything. Or if you check this option, it will place a limit order, right? That's about the trade settings. And zigzag settings, it's pretty normal. It's same as Ultimatex, zigzag length and depth, and also option to use a recursive algorithm. It's not mandatory. If recursive algorithm is not used, the default algorithm used is deep search. So that's the same as Ultimate script. So the next important thing here is filters. So filters allow you to filter your trades based on certain conditions, like the pattern size in terms of bars. This one, in the pattern size in terms of percentage. So bars is something like this, percentage is something like this. So it is based on the size of this pattern in terms of price. Yeah, the first one is the size of pattern in terms of bars. So if you want to trade only bigger, um, you know, bigger patterns, what you can do is something like check this option and let's say 5 to 20, or if you can define what is your range of what is the percentage range where you want to trade, something like that. Okay, so another important factor here is the external filter. So this gives plenty of alternatives. Like you can define your own external filter and use that as a filter and along with the script. I have actually also mentioned this in the script page here. And this how to use external filters. This video idea how to use external filters. You can actually go to this. This was made on Ultimatic script, but you can also use the same thing here as well. You can go through this video and try to understand how to build external filter script and how to use them in the use them in these settings as well. I've already built few external filters and published them as well. For example, this band-based trend filter, which is created just 2 days ago, and this relative bandwidth filter, which is published some time ago. Both of them can be used as a filters. You can also build your own filter on top of that to define your trading zones and trading ideas, right? And that's about filters, and this is a very important feature. Since you're building a strategy, you should definitely make use of the external filters and try to come up with as many, different conditions where you want to trade or where you want to filter out non-trading zones and all these things. So the next part is simple one, category and pattern selector. So if you want to backtest based on a particular pattern, you can select them and unselect rest of them. Otherwise, you can keep it as is. So next part is alerts. Alerts are straightforward again. It's based on customizable alerts. There is one difference between alerts using this particular the customizable pattern and also the strategy pattern, right? Strategy alerts, like this script provides both alerts. One is strategy alert and then the customizable alerts. Strategy alerts are fired when the order is placed via strategy, right? And these alerts, however, is placed when the pattern formed or when the pattern updated and pattern closed. So that means that you can use these alerts to place a stop order or limit order, well in advance. But if you use strategy based alerts, you'll only able to use that for creating a market orders, right? And also to understand more about strategy, the alerts, the template based alerts, there is another video here how to use customizable alerts in Harmonic scripts. So there's another video here which you can look into it. I also mentioned this in the script here, um, and about the same video, and also some details here about what are the different placeholders available, what does it mean, and the default template. You can change this default template, whatever is present here, right? You can change this, but you'll have to use these alert placeholders, which are actually within the single curly brackets, right? So if you look at this video, you'll get a better idea on how to use them, how to make use of them. Right, and the next things are pretty simple. The display, like open trades, show drawings. So this table, if you want to hide, you can hide this using this option. Show drawings means if you don't want to see all these patterns on the chart, you can uncheck this option. And if you want to use a light theme, you can uncheck this option. By default, it's dark theme. And one more thing, like when using an alert, when using the script for alert, make sure you uncheck these options so that alert will run faster. Alert will not have, because alert is something like your script is running somewhere in the server, so you don't want to slow it down by these drawings and tables and all these things. So unselecting this will fasten the, maybe the performance of your alert script. So that's just a suggestion. And similarly, backtest bars. Right now, backtesting is not limited. So if you're using alert, maybe limit this to 5,000, or for you 1,000 is also okay. So that it will not, it will not take longer time to load in the alert, wherever the program is running for alerts. Right, and that completes our session. Please let me know if you have any questions. And to get access, please go through the instruction which I mentioned here. If you just need to go through this link, which has options to get both trial access and subscriptions. You can make use of that. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.